this is my last speech. So last week I wasn't with you guys at Toastmasters, unfortunately. I was in Las Vegas. I was speaking at an online marketing conference called GAG. It's an online marketing conference I've spoken before. There was 300 people there. So last Tuesday I'm giving my speech, and I'm looking at the audience there. And there's about 100 people in the audience, and I'm looking, and I have a very good feeling in myself. I'm like, I'm 22 years old, 100 people are listening to me, and I'm like, what a great life I have, I've been all around the world, and I'm here speaking, having a great time, making new relationships, and I'm traveling around the world, making money, and, on other people's dime. So today I wanted to talk to you about living life to the fullest and how I do it, and how it drives me. So it all started a couple years ago when I was 18. There was a marketing conference here in Israel called SMX Israel, and I always wanted to speak at a conference, so I emailed the guy. His name was Barry Schwartz, and I'm like, Barry, any chance I can speak at your conference? So he emailed me back a couple minutes later, and he said, what do you know about video marketing? I'm like, I know a lot about this. This is what I do, and this I would love to talk about it. So it's like, great, so I'll put you on a panel. So I'm there, 18 years old, speaking in front of, a crowd. There's probably 200 people in the room, and they're like, you did a great job. So I'm thinking to myself, how can I do this again somewhere else? Because I set as to myself a goal. I wanted to speak on 5 out of the 7 continents. So I'm like, okay, this was good, this was fun, let's try to do this again. So I went online, I'm like, where's the next SMX conference? Australia. I'm like, okay, I always want to go to Australia. Sydney's a nice place, I want to go to the beach over there. So I'm like, okay, Australia it is. So I set myself a goal. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Australia in April. So I sent the conference organizer a message. I'm like, I just spoke at SMX Israel. I have an online marketing company. I'd love to give the presentation at your conference. He's like, okay. So I hopped on a plane, went to Australia, spent a week over there after the conference. I always make sure, I spend time over there. Went to the beach over there, Bondi Beach. Very nice. You guys should all go. Really recommend it. Hop on a plane. So I hopped on the plane to Australia, and after Australia, I'm like, this is great, So I ended up in Toronto, I ended up in London, I ended up all around the world, and all on somebody else's dime. I don't pay for my hotel or plane, it's all covered, and I'm making money as well. So when I travel, I always like to go to interesting places. So I've talked about before, traveling to Guam and to the Philippines. But there's a lot of stories over the time that I want to tell you guys about. So after the conference last week in Las Vegas, I went to a colleague of mine in Tampa, Florida. I also have a client over there. And so he has a very nice place on the water over there. Very nice house on the west coast of Florida. Very nice time. So I'm walking around and I'm like, I'm living life to its fullest. So a lot of you guys, a lot of people are working in a dead-end job that they don't like. People, dread waking up Thursday morning, every morning, and, they wait till Thursday night here in Israel or, Friday night in the States, and they dread waking up Sunday morning. They hate the alarm clock waking up. I'm like, why? Why should you guys dread waking up every single day? We should do stuff that you have to do stuff that you're passionate about, You shouldn't be, in a dead-end job, and why should you do stuff that that you don't like? So you have to find passion. It's all about passion and doing stuff that you like. So when I travel, I always like to think, what do I like to do? Do I like doing this? Do I like this client? Should I go get another one? It's all about the focus, because I was in the Philippines. So unfortunately, in the Philippines, you have a lot of expats, Americans, 50, 60-year-old Americans that, or British people that, got divorced or whatever it is, and you go see them walking around with a 20-year-old Filipino wife. So, they get married, they're happy for a couple years, and usually the marriage doesn't work out, because if it didn't work out the first time and you don't correct the issues you had, you're going to still have the same thing the second time. So, it's all about doing something that you love and building up great relations. So I do this when I travel, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in London, whether it's in Sydney, wherever it is. I always like to travel, speak, make money. So at this past conference at UNGAG. So usually these conferences, they're a little bit boring. People think that you have to show up at 8 a.m. to the sessions, and that's where all the deals happen, and that's where the things happen. I'll tell you a secret. Nothing happens at 8 a.m. It all happens at night, at the bar. It all happens outside of the session. So one of the fellow speakers, a friend of mine, Johnny Scott, he's 35. He runs a marketing agency in Dubai and London and in Scotland. We had a great time. So he got himself a presidential suite. And he rented himself this scooter. He has a knee problem. So I'm like, how can we add some value? How can we add some fun to this conference? So I'm like, okay, he has this scooter. How about we take it around? So he's on the front end, and I'm on the back end. And we're driving around. We each have a beer in our hand. And we're just driving around, talking to people at the conference, making trouble. And I even went into a session. He's like, go get it. One of the speakers was speaking, and he's like, my scooter's in there. Can you go get it? So the speaker's starting to speak in one of the tracks. And I'm like, hey, Alex. One of my friends is like, Johnny wants his scooter back. He's like, no problem. So everybody's sitting there listening to the presentation. And I go in there, and I go take the scooter and drive it right out. And we went around the whole conference area on the scooter, and at the party at night, we took it around as well. No damages, there's no DUIs or scooters. I don't even have a license, so I don't think they can give me a DUI for that. So in closing, it's all about living life to the fullest. It comes down to a couple things. Doing what you want, when you want it. Not having any regrets. Not having great relationships, and not worrying. Don't worry about what you do. Everything's going to be okay. If you don't like it, don't do it, and set yourself goals. So I would just want to thank you guys for helping me develop my public speaking here in Toastmasters. It's been a great 10 speeches, and don't worry, I'm going to still come back, Daniel, and improve my speeches. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, is live life to its fullest. I don't know, go skydiving, quit your job, do whatever you want, but just live life. Thank you.